Okay, so we got Dawn all suited up for the bees. She's gonna help me film today's inspection of the first hive of our Juani bee, or whatever we'll call it, farm. It's been really exciting so far. So today I'm going to look for the queen. I'm going to make sure that her brood is looking good, that she's laying a lot of eggs. Make sure there aren't any swarm cells being built. Look at what percentage of the 2 brood boxes are full, and just generally look at the health. And then if it's filled out 70 to 80% or so, then we'll put a honey super on top, start collecting real honey, and stop feeding them sugar water. So I'm gonna let Dawn take the phone. Hi. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is set up the smoker. It does seem to help. Move them away from the top when you have the hive open. So whatever this stuff is made out of, it looks like just cotton knit stuff. Just take a lot of it, put some down. And then it lights really fast. Once you got that going on. You get it burning like that. And then you feed it air with the bellows, and you can see it starts going pretty quick. So I have sugar water ready for them. That's the feeder right there. Since we started the hive with blank frames, they've had to build out their comb. So you give them sugar water as they're building out the comb that they store their brood in. And once it's filled to a certain percentage, I'll stop feeding them sugar water, because otherwise you get what's called funny honey. We want nectar honey and not sugar water honey. But we'll see if we need to replace that based on how the bees are doing. Let me get that out of the way. Oops. I left inside of the house my bee tools, so I'm going to go grab those really quick. This will be a pause in the video. You can film the bees coming in. All right, I got my bee kit, Pro.
Only the best.
Going pro. All right. We have the roof of the hive, and under that is the cover. I'm going to smoke a little bit under it so that the bees start to move. They're starting to glue things together. So the bees have propolis, and they use it to glue all of the openings and edges. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
And this one has a vented screen on the side so the bees can maintain the right temperature in the hive. I learned they like right around 93, 95. Anyways, they keep the temperature in the hive to within a half a degree. All right, so you can come closer, Dawn.
Okay.
You can walk right up to the edge of the hive. It's pretty mellow, but you can see the comb being built out. And what I want to see is the comb built out all the way at least to the outside edge of the first box. And right now I'm seeing comb being drawn on the inside of this one. So I'm going to give us a little space so we can look at some of the comb a little more carefully. I'll take out this one.
Not yet on that one.
No. They haven't, well, they're just starting to draw. Just starting. You can tell by the color of the wax they're putting down. See that?
Yep.
So the bees are starting to work on these. Here's the other side.
Yep.
I kind of want to put them back exactly the order I took them out. So this tray, you can see them starting to draw out the comb. Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
Really beautiful.
Really neat.
Yeah. And these girls are really mellow. Look at that. So as long as I'm careful and I don't squish them, they're really docile.
Oh, look at that one. Wow.
So that's nectar and the sugar water being stored. And then once it reaches a certain humidity, and the bees have sensors on their antenna that sense humidity, they cap it. And that's at around 17.5, 18% or so. And once it reaches that humidity and stays below it, honey lasts forever. So I want to see what the brood is looking like. I doubt we're going to have brood up top here though. These are all stores. That is all capped nectar. Same thing with this side.
Wow. Beautiful.
I don't expect to see the queen up here. And I had the pleasure of marking my first queen. So there's these pens, water-based pens, that are specifically for bees, and you use this neat little contraption here, and you capture the queen, and then you push her up against that wall, and you can paint her back. So that way she's easy to identify when I'm looking at them. Okay, I'm not going to smoke them yet anymore, because too much smoke is stressful for them too. So you really want to use it just to mellow them out. So yeah, more nectar.
Yeah, I see it on the bottom also.
Yeah, so that's oh, what do they call that? When they make bridging comb between the top and the
Two
bottom
places.
box. Yeah, burr comb, I believe is the term. And you can see the propolis along the edges. That's them. They glue everything together. Look at the edges of these boards. See that right here?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's propolis. Okay, more. So they're doing their job in storing the nectar.
Beautiful. There's so many more than when we started.
Yeah. Yeah. So my goal is to get both of these boxes filled out. And they need the sugar water to build that comb quickly. And it's amazing how much they've built in the last week, because I've been inspecting them about, a week or a little bit over. I went to Hawaii for 2 weeks, but I had given them extra space. I had given them this top box long before they actually needed it. But we have mild weather in Santa Rosa, so I wasn't worried about them getting what's called brood chill, when they can't keep the temperature of the hive proper. The brood don't make it. So we weren't getting into those temperatures. So I figured I'd put a second box on and let them start working. Okay, so I want to make sure these are all tight together because that's how they know to space their comb. So the two faces don't touch, just barely enough for a bee to fit. Like, they really work crammed. It's amazing if you look down the middle of this one, how tight the bees are to each other as they work. Isn't that incredible?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Amazingly chill.
yeah, it's really amazing. So now I'm going to separate the top box from the bottom box. I'm going to put something down for it all to lay on. And now I'm using my handy little beekeeping
Can I see that
tool.
again? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's several wedges and these little fingers that you can use to pry things apart
Mm-hmm.
and scrape off burr comb. Although it doesn't seem like they're putting any queen cells or anything together, so I just let them alone. So I'm unsticking the two halves here. And notice how totally chill the bees are for right now. So as soon as you squish one, they put off a pheromone that apparently, when it's sufficient, smells like bananas. You know? So if you start smelling bananas while working on a hive, they're pissed off. Okay. Watch what happens when they get a little smoke. Not a lot because it panics them, but just enough
They hide.
that it irritates them. Yeah, they go under. So I'm going to do the same thing. This hive is working vertically, and what I wanted to do is start filling out horizontally. There's a technique called checkering, which I may try here depending on what they're doing on these outside ones. If they're storing nectar there, I might do what's called checkering. So this one's still getting worked on. Come on, girls. So with this, you're really flicking them more than. And I'm getting them off because I'm afraid some may be brand new nurse bees. And
Shit, sorry.
you getting a little nervous?
No, one hit my foot.
Oh. So I'm going to kneel down because this is hurting my lower back, actually. Oop.
Oh,
Starting to build comb here.
That's a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Really glued up.
Oh, wow. I'm starting to store a lot of honey on that one.
So this one has honey and it also has pollen. I can see pollen, those little colored things you see. Some are orange, some are black, yeah. Trying really hard not to squish a bee because we love them. We love you, girls. Ooh, this one's really glued. start to get a little loud, then
Yeah, I hear them more and more
yeah, I'm gonna
as you
mellow
work.
them out a bit more. So, more pollen stores, and I'm hoping to see some brood. Yeah, that looks like brood there. See how they'll put the honey around the outside, and then all that brown cap stuff there, those are brood cells.
I see.
So these are all babies. Since these are capped, I think we're going to find the queen closer to the middle here. Look at all that cap brood. Beautiful. We got a lot of pollen. A lot of stuff they're saving up here. Right, I don't see the queen. She's got a white dot on her back.
Oh.
These guys are just days away from being born. And when they're born, it's gonna there's a bee population exponentially produces, not linearly. So it's not like two bees produce, well, two bees have two bees output, but as more and more population increases, you get an exponential curve. So once all these babies, all these sisters are born, their first job is to make comb. So they're going to be blasting off.
Here, put it up to the light so I can get a good.
Yeah, I see a drone
There we
cell.
go.
Right here, you can see the one that's lifted in this corner, the bottom left corner. There's a bee visiting it right now. See how it's raised? So they're making males. Like all species, they want to reproduce too, right? So when conditions are good, they start to prepare for a swarm. And I want to make sure we avoid that, because I like these girls and I don't want them leaving. That's why we're giving them lots and lots of space. Oh, get out of the way, sweeties. I really want to get my eyes on that queen. We might have missed her at the top. There's definitely little eggs that I've seen, so
Yeah, she's in there.
she's in here doing her thing.
Careful.
Ooh, shit. I squished one or two.
Oh, they're hanging off the bottom.
Yeah, I still don't see her. She might have just gone into the box. Okay, so I'm gonna do some checkering. So I'm going to take this outside one. It's just starting to get worked on. And I'm going to go between brood and honey stores. So all this is nectar. I don't see any brood. So I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to put this empty one here. Alright girls, chill out. I got you. This, I understand, encourages them to get working on these frames, to consider them part of the home, because I want them to expand horizontally as well as vertically. See what I mean? But that brood is really healthy. The bees are healthy. They're jamming. They are jamming.
They look really good.
Yeah. And they're so freaking mellow. I'm tripping on that.
Very calm.
So, since I want a really strong colony, and these genetics are so beautiful, I want to make sure that they don't have an impulse to swarm. I'm going to do that checkering here too. Trade this outside one here. All right, ladies. Okay. See you in about a week. Hopefully we can stop feeding them at that point, because they've gone through 45 pounds, 40 or 50 pounds of sugar so far. So 2 20-pound bags, and we're maybe halfway through the next one, making them this 1 to 1. So half sugar, half water. I put a pinch of sea salt in there so they get minerals. And the bees, when they're born, for like their first 9 days, they go through different roles. So foraging is the last role they have. Initially, they're nurses, guards, and they make the wax. So when the bee is brand new, she has these glands that converts the nectar and sugar water into wax, and that's what's used to. She's a builder for the first part of her life. Caretaker, builder, nurse, transfers food from one bee to the next. So, you know, pretty awesome. And then they switch over to foraging and do that for the rest of their lives. Amazing.
I can't turn this off. And
Okay.
the gloves.